You see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their songs.
For both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about this shit.
Nobody talks about that project.
That's smooth under the rug.
Why?
They said he was bluffing. They said he'd never dare, but when Jason Lee, the unfiltered, uncensored pulse of Hollywood gossip, stood up and threatened to detonate the Carters' pristine public image, the industry held its breath. He promised evidence. He teased receipts. Not just gossip, but actual, verifiable proof of what the power couple of the millennium had gone to brutal lengths to conceal. Specifically, the chilling reason why Beyoncé and Jay-Z have kept their son, Sir Carter, so far removed from cameras and curiosity that even lifelong fans forget what he looks like. And just when Jason was supposed to go live with the revelations, when the timestamps had been teased and the audience was already gathered in virtual front rows, silence. Not a whisper, not a post, nothing.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
And that silence wasn't just ominous, it was terrifying. Because according to multiple insiders, Jason didn't back down by choice. The moment his promise went viral, phones started ringing in private circles. Pressure came fast and quiet, not just legal, but personal. Allegedly from men who don't need contracts to enforce loyalty. Men tied to Jay-Z's orbit. People who have been moving through the underground of the entertainment industry for decades. People connected to the same whispered names that keep reappearing in courtrooms and exposés. Diddy, Ye, and a network of fixers whose job is to make problems vanish. Suddenly, Jason wasn't talking anymore. And that's the part that made everyone pay attention. Because if there's nothing to hide, why try to bury him? Which brings us right back to the question that no one in mainstream media wants to touch. What exactly are Beyoncé and Jay-Z hiding when it comes to Sir Carter? Tina Knowles herself, a woman who's never been shy about gushing over her grandchildren, keeps offering the same gentle script. That Sir is quiet, that he's more into books and gadgets than music or cameras, that he just doesn't care for the spotlight. But in a family that has never hesitated to spotlight their children's talents, especially when it serves a brand or album rollout, Sir's total absence from key family moments feels more like a calculation than a coincidence.
Family out tonight is a family affair. I saw your mother-in-law so proud of.
Yeah, we're going.
Fans have started doing the math. Why did Sir never appear at the Super Bowl with the rest of the family? Why was he absent from the Mufasa interviews, from brand deals, from even casual paparazzi snaps? Meanwhile, his sister Rumi has already dipped her toes into voiceover work and Ivy Park campaigns. Blue Ivy basically launched her own career in front of our eyes. But Sir? He's a ghost, and now we have whispers from the Jason Lee camp, muffled as they may be, that what he was about to reveal had to do with the origins of Sir's birth. Specifically, the claim that Sir Carter might not be Beyoncé's biological child. The theory? That Sir was conceived via surrogacy, not just in secret, but potentially with a third-party egg donor, and that the family has gone to incredible lengths to lock that story in a vault. Some sources suggest embryo manipulation. Others go further, alleging there may be contractual restrictions on publicizing his image due to legal entanglements with the surrogate or donor. One former team assistant, no longer on payroll, claims there were biological concerns during the early months of the pregnancy, prompting what they described as a strategic reproductive arrangement with full NDA coverage. It's no longer just about privacy, it's about potential liability. And if Jason Lee really does hold medical paperwork or internal communication from the time, then we may be looking at the biggest celebrity deception since the Beyoncé pregnancy bump conspiracy of 2011.
By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling?
But just as the public starts wrapping their heads around this possibility, a second bombshell floats to the surface, one that's even messier. Because while Beyoncé's motherhood may be shrouded in secrecy, it's Jay-Z's fatherhood that could crack the Carter brand apart. We're talking about the long-standing rumor, whispered about in barbershops, blog threads, and late-night DMFs, that Jay-Z has a secret child. Not a twin, not Sir, but an older child from a relationship that predates Beyoncé, who's allegedly been kept in the shadows by way of cash, silence, and intimidation.
I don't have no felonies. I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
The story first emerged over a decade ago, then faded into internet lore. But in the last year, a sudden uptick in resurfaced images, old paternity claims, and cryptic legal filings has stirred it back to life. Jason Lee's name was tied to one of those leads. Allegedly, he was approached by someone close to the mother of the mystery child. According to 2 separate sources, Jason had obtained voice recordings and a document that, if verified, could expose a quiet settlement made on behalf of Jay-Z's camp to keep this child out of the public eye. Some say the child is now an adult, eager to come forward. Others suggest that their guardians were silenced early, possibly with the help of the same shadow figures who've protected Jay's interests for years. But let's not forget, Jay-Z's rise didn't just come from talent, it came from ruthlessness. Several former collaborators have spoken, often off the record, about being iced out, muscled out, or bought out the moment they became a threat to the empire. We're not talking corporate takeovers, we're talking fear. One industry veteran recalled the time a promising young rapper tried to publicly associate with Jay-Z and ended up vanishing from the press within weeks. Another said, "You don't cross the Carters unless you've got a full legal team and know where to be." And now Jason Lee, who definitely doesn't lack guts, is suddenly radio silent after promising to go nuclear.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
The longer he stays quiet, the more suspicious it gets, especially since we now know he wasn't bluffing about having something. Screenshots leaked in a private Telegram group hinted at a time-stamped file labeled Carter Syndicate Private. Multiple journalists have admitted seeing it, though none have dared to publish it. And while Beyoncé pushes a whiskey brand named Sir Davis, blending her great-grandfather's name with what might be a nod to her reclusive son, the image of Sir himself remains elusive. Some fans think it's clever branding. Others think it's smoke.
Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
What we do know is this: if there's a hidden child, it redefines the Carter dynasty narrative completely. Not just as a scandal between husband and wife, but as a betrayal of the public mythology they've crafted together. Power couple becomes power concealment. Black excellence becomes selective erasure. And if Jason Lee has the receipts to prove even one layer of this onion is real, then the silence surrounding him isn't just strategic, it's possibly enforced. Let's not forget what happened to Ye when he stepped out of line. The moment Ye went off script, targeting the Carters, questioning their authenticity, even dragging their children into it, he was blacklisted across every platform. Say what you want about his erratic behavior, but his choice of targets was intentional. He didn't aim at just anyone, he went for the throne. And the throne, it seems, hit back hard, which raises the stakes even further, because if Ye, with his billions, his reach, and his rabid fan base, could be buried under legal and social fire for coming at Jay-Z's children, what exactly is Jason Lee facing behind closed doors?
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them.
According to one ex-bodyguard who briefly worked during a Rock Nation tour, there's a network, small, loyal, and untraceable, that handles non-musical issues on behalf of certain high-profile clients. He wouldn't name names, but he said this: there are 3 people in that circle who never show up in photos, never sit courtside, never speak on record, but they're on the payroll. You won't find them in any LLC filing, but they fly private and make meetings happen. Or not happen. When asked what kind of meetings, he simply said, whatever kind it takes.
And I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
So now we're watching a game of high-stakes chess play out in silence. Jason Lee, the king of messy tea, has more to lose than just his platform. Jay-Z, a man whose power stretches from the Grammys to government contracts, has everything riding on control. Beyoncé, the untouchable icon, risks watching her legacy fracture if even a hint of these rumors gains traction. And somewhere in the shadows, if the whispers are true, stand at least 2 children whose lives are being dictated not by family, but by brand strategy.
And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
And this isn't even touching on the recent Ye drama or the prison calls or the surrogacy contracts allegedly buried under shell corporations. No, those threads are still hanging in the wind, waiting to be pulled. And here's where things start to feel less like tabloid intrigue and more like a noir thriller set inside the music industry. Because when you talk about intimidation in entertainment, 2 names rise to the top of the food chain: Jay-Z and Diddy. These aren't just moguls. These are men whose rise to power has always been flanked by whispers of silent threats, legal suppression, and, according to some who used to be in their orbit, an unwritten rule: stay loyal or disappear. And not disappear in the move to Bali and drink smoothies way. Disappear as in, no more interviews, no more Instagram, no more career.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup.
Take the case of Jaguar Wright. Once a respected neo-soul artist, she lit a match under the entire Roc Nation legacy when she accused both Jay-Z and Diddy of exploiting artists and orchestrating what she called a system of silence. Within months, her platforms were crippled, her credibility questioned, and she's since become more of a cautionary tale than a movement. And then there's the chilling fallout from the Cassie and Diddy case. One day, she files a lawsuit detailing horrific abuse, and less than 24 hours later, it's settled. The case vanished as fast as it surfaced. No depositions, no cross-examination, just silence, and a mountain of paperwork likely sealed behind NDAs.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement. He has a family, and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down.
When we look at the long list of producers, managers, bodyguards, and ex-girlfriends who've tried to speak out against these two men, a pattern emerges. Sudden financial settlements, unexpected health complications, cryptic Instagram captions, followed by weeks, sometimes years of radio silence. It's the music industry's version of a velvet noose, soft, invisible, and fatal to your career if you pull against it. Which begs the obvious question, what exactly is Jason Lee dealing with behind the scenes? Because this isn't a man known for backing down. He's made a career out of being unfiltered, and yet here he is, days after teasing explosive Carter family revelations, posting memes and promoting hair products like nothing ever happened.
Jay-Z new video with Nas and DJ Khaled is a scene with checkerboards. These are all occult Satanists.
Some believe he was paid off, that the Carters' legal team swooped in with a quiet offer and an airtight NDA. Others think it went darker, that calls were made not to lawyers but to enforcers, the same sort of enforcers that Ye hinted at during one of his chaotic but telling rants when he said, they can control LeBron, they can control Beyonce, but they can't control me. It sounded like Ye being Ye until his accounts were nuked, his partnerships dissolved, and he was reduced to releasing albums through barely legal Telegram channels. Suddenly, it wasn't paranoia. It was proof of how fast the machine can turn against even its own architects. And speaking of architects, let's talk about the original blueprint of Carter family privacy. Because this obsession with control didn't start with Jason Lee. It started with Beyoncé's bump. From the moment she revealed her first pregnancy at the VMAs in 2011, something always felt choreographed. The infamous folding belly clip on the Australian talk show sparked years of conspiracy. Then came the ultra-curated Instagram reveal of the twins, 1 month after their birth, in front of a flower wall. With no doctors or hospital tags in sight, every image of her children is framed like a museum piece. Flawless, impenetrable, scripted. But what if it's not just artistic direction? What if it's an elaborate form of misdirection?
He took them to some apartment building, and you know, they did what they did in there, you know, talked a little bit, had a good time party. And I guess had, you know, I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was this. And I honestly just believe her, you know, it's just no doubt.
Sir Carter is the ultimate example. No school appearances, no red carpet cameos, no cameos in music videos, brand shoots, or even family TikToks. While Blue Ivy dances on stage and Rumi shows up courtside with Beyonce and Jay-Z at the Super Bowl, Sir remains invisible. Not camera shy, invisible. Tina Knowles calls him quiet and bookish, but even that feels like part of a narrative, a story pre-approved for public consumption. One theory gaining traction among the online sleuths is that Sir has a visible difference, that a genetic trait or condition, possibly the result of third-party involvement in the conception process, is the real reason he's kept out of the public eye. And Jason Lee may have been sitting on the only tangible proof. We've seen fan speculation about surrogacy. We've seen blurry side-by-side photos of Sir and Rumi questioning facial structure, bone symmetry, even eye placement. It sounds ridiculous until you consider just how carefully the Carters control every other aspect of their visual legacy. Beyoncé doesn't post casual photos, she posts proof of perfection. Sir doesn't fit the blueprint. And in this family, that means he doesn't get posted at all. There's even talk that Jason had obtained documents or testimonies from individuals who worked with the surrogate, people who had access to early conversations between doctors, legal teams, and management. If that's true, and the paper trail exists, then we're not talking about gossip. We're talking about scandal with generational consequences.
I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling.
Now pair that with the theory of Jay-Z's secret child, and you start to see why this story may never fully see daylight. Because this isn't just about celebrity secrets, it's about legacy, brand equity, billions of dollars in endorsements, movie deals, real estate ventures, and upcoming projects with global impact. The Carters aren't just entertainers, they're an empire. And empires don't tolerate vulnerability. They erase it. It's not just Jason Lee who's gone quiet. We've noticed the ripple effect. Smaller gossip blogs that hinted at the story last week, posts deleted, Twitter threads archived, even a few YouTubers have mysteriously switched topics after teasing a Carter family deep dive. One indie journalist reportedly received a cease and desist just for using Jason Lee's name in a thumbnail connected to the allegations. We reached out to that reporter. They declined to comment. The email ended with, "For now, I need to protect my family." That phrase, "protect my family," keeps coming up. And not just from Jason Lee's circle. We saw it in Beyonce's own GQ interview, where she said, "No amount of money is worth my peace." A curious statement, considering her latest business move is a whiskey line called Sir Davis, named in part after her great-grandfather, but possibly also her son. Is this a subtle tribute? Or a slick attempt to reframe the narrative? A drink named after the most hidden member of her family, created with the help of Moet Hennessy, a company known for its precision and control. Nothing in the Carter orbit is accidental.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
So we're left with this, a silenced whistleblower, a missing child, and two entertainment giants whose track records are now tangled in a web of legal filings, sealed settlements, and alleged coercion. And through it all, one truth seems unavoidable. In this industry, truth isn't just expensive, it's dangerous. You don't expose icons without consequences. You don't outshine the throne, and if Jason Lee was brave enough to try, then we've just seen how fast the silence descends. But here's what we're asking ourselves now, and what we're asking you. If this is just the surface, what else is lurking underneath? How deep do the deals go? How many careers, voices, even lives have been erased just to keep a narrative intact? And more importantly, what exactly did Jason Lee uncover that was too hot for the world to see? We want to hear from you. Drop your theories, your screenshots, your questions in the comments, because this mystery isn't over, not even close. And when the next bombshell drops, you'll want to be the first to say, "We saw it coming." What else are they hiding? And who will be brave enough to expose it next? Stay curious, stay bold, and as always, watch The Throne.